Okay, so you should have all of your, you should just have, okay, so you should have a pencil, eraser, some paper of course, and perhaps even a pencil sharpener to start with. And let's have a look at what we're going to be drawing today. So you can see here's my equipment all set up. I have I've got our shape and I've got it live here. So I just thought I would spin it around and give you a little look. So it's a bottle, obviously. This shape is not a cylinder, but these shapes are, so that's good, that's handy. So what we're trying to do is observe the form and see how we can simplify. So let's take a look at the grid over here. So first of all, I have divided our canvas, if you like, our drawing surface, into half vertically and horizontally. So that's a good start in working out your proportions. This drawing, we're going to start with proportions, which I made a previous video on. So if you're not sure what that means, maybe just go back and have a look at that one first, and then you can move on to this next stage, which is developing the shapes. Okay, so what we've got is your outline, your basic shape. So I've got the grid of the parameters of the bottle. We've got the widest parts marked. We've got the height marked and the lowest part. And you can see that we've got this crosshair in the middle, which shows us basically the center of the composition. So this shape, I chose this because there are some simple shapes in it, here and here, but inside, under the lid, there's something else going on. And then we've got something quite different happening down in the glass bottle section. So let's get started. I've got my pencil. So the first thing I'm going to do is draw the parameters of what I can see here. And just by the way, the red lines that you see, now I'm going to just draw some straight lines. So this is how big I want my drawing. Just so that I can, these are just parallel lines so that I can work out where I want things. So I really should get a ruler, but I haven't got one. No. So I will just put in maybe a halfway mark. And do you like my ruler? I wasn't very organised, was I? Oh well, that's pretty much halfway, so that's all right. Then I'm going to look at the basic shape. So again, we need to put in our comparative points to see where the main shapes of the object are going to sit on our page. So here we are, we've got our very basic shape, and the center, so the top of the bottle is actually on line with the grid. The grid looks to me like that distance there to there to there is about a third. Agree? Let's say about a third. All right. So let's make, that's not going to be a third. A third and a third. Okay, about a third. And if you want to, you can measure. But we are just sketching. If you wanted to do more of a technical drawing, then of course you could. You could certainly measure. Now this halfway point, the center point, is the bottle is coming up a little bit past that center point. So I would say, how would you judge this distance? How would you work that out? So 1, 2, that's a bit bigger. From the width, let's say that distance would be the same as that. So let's maybe just divide it into thirds and then see how we go. Okay, so we're going up, maybe up to about here. And then the next mark up is a little shorter. And then we're going up to our lid. Okay, that looks all right to me. Okay, next we have the widest part, and we haven't put that in. So, oh, that is not right. It's going to be a lot wider than that. Okay, that's. I think that my proportions might be slightly kooky, but we'll have a look. So the edge of the bottle is way over here. Here. And here. I don't think that's right. Okay. Well, now, you know what I've done? I've actually drawn the page. I've drawn this. I've done this. So I should have just done this. So way too fat. So what I'm going to do is cut it. All right. That's the center. And the width is about I think that would be the width of the bottle. Maybe a bit wider. And then the width of the lid would be maybe halfway. Let's just see how this looks. Okay. So now what I've got is my basic parameters, but what I want to do is draw them in 3D shape form. But first what I'll do is I will, this is the wider one, so I'll just put that in there. Okay, that's narrower. This one, the silver part of the bottle is a bit wider. And then we've got an actual edge of the glass. And then even further down, the glass bottle starts. So what we'll do here, so we're looking for basic shapes. So there's our basic, whoop, there's our basic shape. Okay, now how do those proportions look? They look okay, but that's not even straight. I'm just looking at my page. Now what we need to do is, you can see how this is quite flat. So what we need to do is make sure that it's three-dimensional, because when we look at the shape, these aren't straight lines. They are curved. Okay, the bottom of the bottle is curved, and so is the bottom of the glass. If I took that away, you can see that there's actually circle shapes all through this object. So let's have a go at trying to, I'm going to just correct that bottom part. Okay, so just a little wonky, but we're just showing proportions. Okay, so we've got our basic proportions, so now we need to break down the shape. So what we're going to do is we're going to make, and if I drew it here, a cylinder. Okay, so we've got cylinders happening. Cylinders are basically ellipses with straight. So a really good activity to practice is drawing ellipses with straight lines. And then, you know, even drawing them sideways. Basically everything that's three-dimensional is shaped like that. Well, curved anyway. Okay, so what we're going to do is do the same treatment. So we've got our central line. So if we were going to draw, and if it was going to be like a technical drawing, we would have a really lovely ellipse. And this line is in front, so that line goes there. Now I have taken the photo of the bottle in a very flat angle so that it's easy for you to get the basic idea. But there we go. So now you can see that's already starting to form up and look a little bit more 3D. We've still got our straight edges, but then we're going to come again and just nip off the bottom. And this one just echoes the same shape. Now what the style of drawing that we're doing is we're using parallel lines. Okay, so we're not using perspective yet. So wherever you make a curve, it's just replicated the same angle. Later on we'll learn how to do perspective, but this is simple parallel shapes. Okay, so now we've got the big shape of the bottle to come. Just before we go further, I need to mark in where the glass, well, this part here, because that actually takes up quite a bit of the bottle, doesn't it? So let's have a look. I've got the mark, the center mark of the whole drawing, but I need the widest part of the bottle, which is a little bit below the center, probably about the same as that distance. So I'll just make a mark here, like that, parallel. And then we'll move down here, and I think that the top red line would be about here. And remember, this is glass, so it has a thickness. So we need to be able to indicate the thickness of the glass as well as the roundness of the bottle. So we've got our three lines here. All right, so let's carve our shape away. Now we've got the widest, so the widest part is here, not there. The widest part is here and here. So we need to get from here to here. So what we'll do is we'll just do a curve, and we'll do the same, very slight curve. Okay, how does that look? Not too bad. And then the sides of our bottle are not straight. They do come in from this wide point. So how far do they come in? Let's have a look. Let's see if we can draw a grid line. So there's the edge of our bottle there, down below, and there. So that kind of helps too, doesn't it? I'll just move there. So we've got a little bit on each side of our red frame. So let's go back and have a look. There's our center. This is our red frame. And we're going to go in probably maybe just a tiny bit on each side. If you wanted to measure, it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4. No, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe a sixth on each side. Don't get too concerned about it, but we'll draw this line and then we'll see if it looks okay, or then we might have to sculpt it back a bit. Now remember, we've got a thickness, so I'm not happy with that one, so I'm just going to do that one again. It looks a little fat at the moment, but that's because we're drawing the outer part of the glass. We're going to draw the inner part in a moment. So now we need to get this ellipse happening, and the ellipse goes from here up to here on our drawing. So we need to make the ellipse go almost to the edges of the glass, but not quite. And it is a funny shaped ellipse. Okay. and then we're going up the insides of the glass. I'll just put that in just to give you a reference. And then we will continue the outside of the glass, and then we go down to the bottom of the bottle, which just grazes here and curves up. Just like that. Now, how is that? It's a bit uneven. It's a bit wonky. I can fix it. And the glass is kind of curved on the inside, so. And then you have all these wonderful reflections and shadows in there. Okay, so does the proportion look okay? Yeah, I think it does. I think it does. So we've broken this down into an ellipse shapes here and here, and then we've got a large cylinder. So we've turned the ellipses into cylinders. Cylinder here, a cylinder, and then we've carved away from our frame, our reference frame, to create the shape that looks pretty good to me. So let's just go back. So there you have it. It's a pretty simple way of drawing, but it's a way of seeing. If you practice looking at things that are complicated and then visually just breaking them down into simple shapes, it will make your drawing practice a lot easier. So think in terms of rectangles, cylinders, cones, all those sorts of three-dimensional shapes. And yeah, you need to do some practice drawing three-dimensional shapes. We're going to move on to that in another video later on, which covers how to make things look three-dimensional. So it's all about form. So in the meantime, I want you to practice and yes, keep at it, keep your pencils moving, and let me know if you found this useful. I really hope that you did. If you want to, you can subscribe, message me, email me, or even show me some of your work. I'd love to see it. So in the meantime, stay safe and stay well, my friends. God bless.